Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm David here and I've got the luxury sitting here in my lounge looking back at the footage now as I speak. I'm looking at the footage exactly the same as you, and if you remember in the last two previous videos I've done with Anubhav through the fault finding parts 1 and parts 2 previous, we are now on his test today. So the examiner's sitting beside Anubhav here, and I'm in the test centre just to the left of the shot there. And I'm watching Anubhav going up the road here. Now then, if you remember previous, Anubhav had a lot of issues with mirrors. However, as always guys, I'm not allowed to show any video footage of people. It's not allowed without permission, and Anubhav's just been asked to pull up on the left here. A little bit of a hill start on this is Bryce Road actually, the name of the road that the test centre's in. Getting back though, yeah, so I can't take any audio and or any video footage of people. So we can't actually see if Anubhav's checking his mirrors or not. However, we will be able to keep you informed of that by the result at the end of the test here today. So we're wishing Anubhav all the best, as we always do. And I think he'll do a really good job. As I speak to you right now, yes, I already know the result. However, I want you to have a look at the test today and enjoy the route and see how Anubhav gets on, and we'll discuss any faults that could occur during this particular test. Now, what I will do is I think I'll probably run forward, fast forward a lot of it, because you know, a lot of people are not going to be interested in the routes itself unless you're actually going to be getting a test in the Curry Test Centre here in Edinburgh. So I'll have a wee chat along as we're driving along the road, and let's just see how things go. I'll try and see if I can fast forward some parts, and then I'll bring it back down to normal speed once we get to the kind of juicy bits, as they say. So okay, so let's go ahead with this. Okay, so we're actually about 8 times the speed, and I'm only showing it because there's a lot of people doing their test at Curry, and this could be one of the tests. This test is in the afternoon, so really at the end of the day, and usually in the afternoons, you can be going anywhere, to be honest with you. So that's the reason why I just left this route on. So, well, like I say, 8 times the speed, you're not getting an awful lot, but you can probably bring your speed down if you're really interested. If you want to see the route in more detail. I came back to normal speed here in a second too, because it's quite interesting that when Anubhav turned right here onto the Lanark Road, the examiner took Anubhav in a very interesting little route, or I should say another direction. When usually we turn left here, down Kingsnow Road North, Kingsnow Road South, maybe it is, sorry. Can't just quite remember the name of that. And anyway, but the examiner asked Anubhav to take the next road on the left, just here. So I'll let you have a wee look at this route. Now, be careful when you're going down here, because when you're going down here, you need to look down the road before you overtake. As you can see, we're in a 20 zone, but vehicles could be coming up there. And like any road, make sure you get a good observation ahead so that you can see if there's anything coming up. I'm sorry if you can hear any background noise here in my lounge here. There's some kids and stuff playing outside, so I don't know if you can hear them. So we're taking a wee right turn here back up. Yeah, so I'll just let you see how things are going here. We're going right up to the end of the road, and Anubhav has then been asked to turn right. Now that take us back onto the Kingsnow Road, just next to the golf course there, as you can see that. Yeah. And again, we're still, remember guys, we're still on the 20 mile an hour restriction. And after turning right here, Anubhav was asked to turn right again. So when you're maybe taking off track, I say that because you might, with your driving instructor, be used to certain routes, and then when you go on a driving test and then you end up getting asked to turn right or left away from your track that you normally, it can breed a little bit of anxiety, and you start hunting for signs and looking for stuff. You've just got to try and relax. I'm sure your instructor will probably taking you over the areas that that are more challenging, where people usually, it's quite well known for people to fail in these particular areas, so you usually get more training around about these areas. However, on a driving test you can be asked to turn left or turn right at any time, because the examiners are quite entitled to do that, particularly if the road ahead is maybe busy, or there's traffic queues, there could be roadworks or anything that could occur. Anything that the examiner might have to deviate from the normal route. So in this case we're actually back on track, actually, to the road that most of the students would probably recognise this road, and we can do parallel park here, but I think Anubhav's just been asked to pull up on the left and disregard the driveway. You might think he's parked on the driveway there, in which case he is, but he's been asked and been told to disregard the driveways only on that occasion. So remember that, guys, that if you are instructed and given that permission, then it's usually because the examiner's trying to set you up for a move off situation, like an uphill, or maybe just to move off at an angle behind parked cars. So they do on occasions ask you to stop behind a vehicle or in front of a vehicle about a car length. Anyway, we're back onto the Lanark Road again, and then we're going to head back down again to the next area where a lot of mistakes are actually made. They're usually only minor faults, but let's have a look at it. Okay everyone, so I'm going to come in here. This is another area that a lot of people tend to forget to do. I've seen this on many occasions, and when you're looking ahead here coming down the road, this is where you've really got to project in areas that you're maybe unfamiliar with. And you're looking out for not just the white lines on the road, but you can see the blue signs in the distance of the bus lane, and there's the entrance into the bus lane there. You've got a cycle lane on the left as well, so you've really got to be in your mirrors before you get in. Anubhav does a great job there by coming in to the bus lane just here. A lot of people don't do that, and they stay out on the right hand side, and when they're given the instruction to turn left at the lights, they tend to find themselves in this right hand lane joining into traffic, and then they're struggling to try and get their left mirrors to get back to the lane where we are. And this is the beauty of being able to come back to the left lane whenever the left lane is available, including if it's a bus lane. Obviously, guys, within the correct restrictive times of the bus lanes. So, yeah, that was something I think maybe worth noting there. And this can happen anywhere, not just where we are. So we're here and coming round the corner into Ingles Green Road. You'll see on the left hand side we're entering a 20 zone. Now that's a good kilometre long, that 20 zone. Now Anubhav's been instructed to turn right at the next junction, so we're actually going into Sainsbury's car park there, and you'll notice on this junction that there is a dedicated right turn lane, and we can, provided oncoming traffic, provided there's a gap, then you can just turn right, provided there's no oncoming traffic there. So we're going into Sainsbury's, we'll find a little bay, and Anubhav's going to reverse into the bay. I'm going to run it forward on the way out of the Sainsbury's because Anubhav's reverse bay park was just fine and everything was okay up to this point. So we just did a little reverse bay in here, and we'll be heading out in a second. Now if you didn't get in right away in first time, and you can draw forward and fix it, just like Anubhav does here. He just draws forward a wee bit there and fixes it, so that's okay. No problem with that. Now, on the way out, Anubhav was instructed to turn right at the end of the car park. Now, to do that here, of course you do your mirrors now, and you will signal up for right and move into this middle lane here. And of course we're just waiting on the traffic lights to turn right here. I've edited it a little bit quick to stop us from sitting too long, and we're moving off now. So if you remember what speed we were before we came in, that's the same speed as you are after you exit. And if you're sharp enough, or if you do forget, if you look right onto the lamppost, you'll see there is a little 20 sign just as a reminder. And a lot of the roads do have that. A little thing about speeds, guys, is that a lot of people talk about the lampposts and stuff like that. You know, to be honest with you, that system doesn't always tend to work right. You know, if you don't know what speed it is, then if you're not being instructed, or if you've not been given any reminders, look at the lamppost. And if there is no reminders there, the chances are it probably will be 30 mile an hour, because they don't have to remind you about that. But if it's 20 or 40 or any other speed that's not 30 mile an hour, for instance, then you should be reminded every so often. Also, you can have a look in the side roads, and if you see speed restrictions in the side roads, then that obviously means that you must be on a different speed from the side road, otherwise they wouldn't have to give you a new speed. I hope that's clear to you. So we're now in Longstone Road. We're heading up towards the roundabout at, well, we would call it the Murrayburn roundabout. You can go ahead up towards Calder Road, or you can turn left towards the Wester Hales side of Edinburgh. In this case, Anubhav's been instructed to follow the road ahead. At this particular time, I don't know whether he's on sat navigation or whether he's being verbally instructed by the examiner, but it doesn't really matter. You'll notice on this roundabout there is actually 3 exits. The ahead route is the 3rd exit. It's not easy to see because the first little exit is the bus depot. The 2nd exit is for Murrayburn. So the best idea here is, because of the white lines on the road, there is only one lane on the roundabout now. So as you can see, Anubhav's coming round, you would do your mirrors and signal to exit. And you're now heading up towards Calder Junction. So once we get to the end of the road, at the roundabout, Anubhav was then asked to turn left. First exit. So at this point, there is also another instruction where you can maybe get stopped on the left here if there's enough space, and then given independent driving from here and asked to follow the road signs for Kilmarnock. However, in this case, I don't know whether Anubhav's been given that instruction or not, but he's turning left here, so we're quite happy with this so far. Now, up to now, guys, there's hardly been any faults in Anubhav's driving. I've never really seen anything. He's not taking any wrong lanes. His speed's been good. So, although I can't see him, whether he's been getting faults on his mirrors like we were worried about remains to be seen. So we'll just have to wait for the end of the test for that. However, we're now on the dual carriageway, and the bus lanes are there. However, the time is such that the bus lane is not in operation. So remember, guys, it's easy to work out, especially in the area here, that in most bus lanes in the UK usually start at a certain time in the morning and they end at a certain time, and that's quite universal over the UK. So always remember that bus lanes are usually open, and you can use them from 9:30 AM until 4 p.m. So yeah, we can at 4 p.m. of course it closes again for a couple of hours until 6:30, and yeah, the bus lane will then open again after that until in the morning when it closes again. So it's only just 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night from the peak times. So I always have a little saying, when you see a blue sign, check the time, just in case you've ended up with a test which sort of is in between the bus times. It's not a nice thing. We're coming now up to Bankhead roundabout. Remember, when you see the sign at a roundabout, check your mirrors first and then control your speed up to it, and then you can do your mirrors again and signal for your direction. So we're here at Bankhead, following the road ahead. So this particular roundabout in this direction has a left dedicated lane for left turn. It's quite a tight little roundabout. Bankhead is also a spiral coming in the other direction, which means that when you're moving off from here, you have to take great care when making an assessment to move into it, because cars can come round the outside and take you by surprise like this van's doing. And it actually uses the lane that we're following. The blue car on your right hand side, as you can see, was actually alongside us as we were approaching the junction there. Okay, so we're now heading up towards, we're leaving Bankhead junction here. Again, blue sign, check the time, you know that you can use the bus lane, and we're still heading up the Calder Road, 40 miles an hour, and heading up towards the Calder junction now. Again, an area where a lot of faults are made. And in this scenario, you'll see Anubhav does the right thing, makes sure it's safe, checks his mirrors, signals correctly, and moves over to the right hand lane to get past the cyclist. Now then, let's have a look. Now then, wait a second. Now Anubhav's reneged and not overtaken the cyclist there. Now he did have plenty of time to pass the cyclist, so he's now getting a bit close to the cyclist. If you ask me, this is not good. So we need to keep well back from that cyclist at all times. You know, think about a bus between you and the cyclist. Don't be getting close to the cyclist. Now, we'll find out the reason why Anubhav didn't overtake the cyclist there and then come back in as normal. But anyway, we're still here, and let's see how things go. There's a look behind us there, so yeah, it was clear enough. We're just having a look here just to see. That's Anubhav moving out to the right hand lane to pass the cyclist, and decided to go back in again. Okay, so it was clear enough to go back in, so that was fine. Yeah, it was alright there, but it was a bit disappointing that he didn't manage to actually get past the cyclist at that point. But there's no way now that we can now get back out, because there's too much traffic coming down that lane now, so you'll have to stay behind the cyclist for now. So we'll just have a wee look and see what's going to happen now. So I'll need to flick it back to the front camera in a second and see what's happening. So just while we're here, we can have a wee look and see there's plenty of traffic behind us, as you can see. So Anubhav will be moving off now, and we'll flick it back to a front camera view, and the cyclist has got a little bit headway, so that's fine. So now that's a good distance, so we don't want to be getting any closer than this. So you've got to, now we don't want to get really close to the cyclist here. Now it's getting a bit close again. Now that's too close. We're too close to the cyclist. You can't get this close. Okay, so I'm assuming Anubhav managed to get his mirrors and signal in, and to overtake the cyclist there. I think I would like to have a wee look behind us again, just to see what was going on there. Okay, so Anubhav is at the... We're going round the roundabout again. We're having a look and see what's behind us. Anubhav at the moment is behind the cyclist. So how did he manage to get out into the right hand lane? So we've got that white van behind us. Now Anubhav's not taking the opportunity to get past. Now the van's gone out before Anubhav there. Now, right, you can see that, okay, so the driver's actually waved Anubhav across in front of him there, and then Anubhav's overtaken the cyclist at that point, and I'm hoping that he will come back into the, yes, so he gets back in again, and we're happy with that. So effectively the white van was a bit interrupted by Anubhav being there, because I think the white van realised the problem Anubhav was in, and they held back because they knew that Anubhav was stuck behind the cyclist. Okay, back to our front view again. Anubhav's taking a left up towards the test centre here. Now, a wee bit worried about Anubhav's proximity to the cyclist on these probably 2 or 3 occasions. So let's have a wee speed up to the test centre and see what happens. Okay, so that's the little parking ride roundabout, and of course we've got Heriot Watt here, keeping left to go ahead, 40 mile an hour up the hill. It looks like we're doing 140 mile an hour at the moment, but we're going through the bends here up to the roundabout. 20 zone here. Most people who have seen the videos in the past will know where we are. So I've ran forward a few times, and we're taking a left in the test centre just on the left hand side here, and back to normal speed again so that we're coming in. So we're going to turn left into the car park, and I'm going to bring me back to where I am speaking from now. So here we are, and I'm just going to help you with what happened there, and unfortunately I have to announce that Anubhav did actually fail, and it was only because of the cyclist. The examiner actually praised Anubhav on his drive. He didn't have any faults basically at all, just one use of speed, which either maybe had been going a wee bit over the speed or a wee bit under the speed. I just can't quite remember this now, but that was not really important. However, the examiner said when he got a bit close to the cyclist there, he could have lived with that. However, unfortunately, when the lights changed and going round and round about, as you'll see in the video, Anubhav got far too close to the cyclist on the second occasion, and that's what actually made the examiner take the decision of failing Anubhav there. So it's very disappointing that there's a situation, and a lot of people say that the good luck's the thing. I don't believe in good luck, but I believe in bad luck. And then all it takes, that you've got to be able to deal with these cyclists, and you've got to keep away from them. I think on the second occasion as well, getting close, Anubhav probably panicking a wee bit at that point. There's vehicles on the right hand side. You saw the van. If you look closely in the video, you'll see the driver of the van waving Anubhav in front of him, because he, whether Anubhav's seen that or not is another situation. But of course, that's all about experience. But after speaking to Anubhav about that, and I asked him, why did you not just continue and overtake the cyclist and come back in? And Anubhav's his reason was that he didn't feel. Let's have a look. So what actually happened was Anubhav stated that when he went out, he didn't think he was going to make it past the cyclist, and that he would have probably ended up getting stuck in the right hand lane and not being able to get back. He was further away from the roundabout than he actually thought he was. He could have got past the cyclist there. However, he's done what he's done, and he's came back here. Now the examiner in this situation here is where he got the first fault, being too close. We're running out of road between Anubhav and the cyclist in the rear wheel of the cyclist. So that's where the examiner said he could have lived with that. However, everything's still okay. There's a fault there waiting to come in. The examiner is thinking to himself, well, everybody's panicking now. How is Anubhav going to get past the cyclist when you've got traffic on the right hand side? Well, it's simple. You just stay away until there is sufficient room. But what's actually happening is Anubhav's beginning to make more progress again on the cyclist, and you know, the cyclists can probably be getting a bit anxious about Anubhav being so close as well. So this is where I think too close at this point. You can see Anubhav's on the corner there, too close there, as you will agree, and that's what made the examiner that decision. Of course, the van was also a bit delayed. He slowed up and told Anubhav to get out, and Anubhav came back in again, and everything was okay from here up towards the test centre. So to clear everything up, I did say, what was the problem then if Anubhav did overtake the cyclist and stayed where he was, and just imagine he was on not so much the right hand lane, he'd been in the middle lane and went ahead, then that would have been fine. Of course it's fine. Remember, you have to understand that it's not always a fault just because you're using the right hand lane to go ahead at a roundabout. If the road goes ahead, then you can use it for a reason. And we had a valid reason for using that lane. And Anubhav could have stayed in that lane and came off on the right hand side, and then in the new road, check your mirror signal and come back to the normal driving position. Yes, of course, it's only a fault if you're continuously avoiding a lane that you can be using. So in other words, when the bus lanes are available, yes, we use them. But if you're constantly avoiding that lane, just like driving down the right-hand side on a motorway, you've got to come back to the normal position because people need to get past you in the right-hand lane. So we use the left. We drive on the left. But for that purpose, the examiner did say you could have stayed on the right-hand lane if you did think. But there was actually room for Anubhav to come back. But we've discussed it, and everything is all right now. Anubhav's now got another test already booked in, so we'll be crossing our fingers. But it's a really unfortunate situation, and just one fault, really. And however, I can only say one thing, that Anubhav's mirrors are absolutely excellent. Oh, so how frustrating. Learning to drive, yeah. See you again, guys, in the next video. And I hope you subscribe, and I hope you click the notifications bell, and you'll get to see more videos like this with little explanations. And if you've got any comments, please do so and let me know in the comments section. Thanks again.